Today's current affairs. The most important news for today. Shyam Benegal, filmmaker, famous director, doyen of parallel cinema, dies at 90 in Mumbai after prolonged sickness. Shyam Benegal was a Dada Saheb Phalke awardee, Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan awardee, and also he is known for his parallel cinema, not only mainstream commercial cinema, but also parallel cinema. In mainstream commercial cinema, you will be seeing same theme, drama, songs, and fights. Whereas in parallel cinema reflects true analysis of socio-economic conditions. It is very close to realism and naturalism. Parallel cinema is very close to realism and naturalism. So, Shyam Benegal, the veteran director, passed away yesterday. And he was pioneered in parallel movies, parallel cinema. Parallel cinema reflects the real social and economic conditions, cultural conditions. And he is very famous for various movies. He was born in Hyderabad. So, fantastic news. The man who died at 90 years of age, Shyam Benegal, he was born in Hyderabad. Next important news today, December 24th. December 24th is National Consumer Day. Every year on December 24th, Bharatiya Grahak Divas, also known as National Consumer Day. In India, we have Consumer Protection Act, and the previous act of 1986 has been replaced by new act, Consumer Protection Act 2019, to protect the consumers from unfair trade practices, to ensure quality, quantity, purity, potency of any good or service. There is an act in India titled Consumer Protection Act 2019. December 24th every year we celebrate as National Consumer Day. The day December 24th in 2024, the theme of the day was virtual hearings and digital access to consumer justice. Virtual hearings and digital access to consumer justice. So, very important news. Next, in central government schools, detention policy have again started. Till now, there is a no detention policy. Now, at 5th class and 8th class, if the students fail, they will be detained. They will be given 2 months of time to write the exam again. If they don't perform in that exam also, they will be detained. The central government in India scrapped the no detention policy for class 5th and class 8th, allowing schools to fail the students if their performance does not meet required standards. The new amendments to the right to education rules would allow states to hold regular exams for the students of class 5th and 8th and hold them back if they fail. Actually, education is a state subject. Primary education is a state subject. Already in India, according to amended Act of RTE in 2019, states are allowed to follow their own detention policies. States need not follow no detention policy. 16 states and 2 union territories already following detention policy. Now central government also started detaining the students of 5th standard and 8th standard if they don't perform with the required standards. So even central schools like Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, they are all now detain the students if they fail in 5th standard and 8th standard. So there is a lot of criticism about detaining the student in the 5th standard, because 5th standard is something formative years where student will not actually appreciate the importance of education. Sometimes some will be very good at some other skills rather than studying math, English, science, etc. Detaining at that age is not correct, particularly 5th standard. Our External Affairs Minister, Sri Jaishankar, is going to visit US from today, December 24th to December 29th. External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, will pay a 6-day visit to the America from Tuesday. In the first high-level trip from India after Donald Trump won the US presidential elections, Jaishankar will meet his counterparts to discuss key bilateral, regional and global issues. And as Donald Trump is going to take oath in January, many changes we can expect from America, particularly in immigration policy and economic policies. Already, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar said, he said that two things are very difficult to negotiate with Trump. One is about immigration, second is about trade. So, let's see how things are going to move. Jaishankar noted that, like many other countries, India may also have some issues with America and we have to deal with them. The India-US relations witnessed a major upswing during Donald Trump's first term, Trump 1.0, as American president from 2017 to 2021. So, during Trump presidency, previously, India and America relations have gone to a greater extent. They reached a new heights. So, that's also an interesting news. Coming to the other news. As the United Nations prepares to celebrate its 80th anniversary next year, as UN was formed in the year 1945, in 2025, UN is going to celebrate its 80 years. India stressed that reform is the key to the UNO, and only with reformation, only with changes in the UNO, relevance of the UNO can be actually made into effect. So, otherwise, in the era of 21st century where many countries are coming up, reforms are needed in UN also. So, particularly we need to stress it on the 80th birthday of UN. By the time we reach 80th birthday, reform should be mooted forward. Otherwise, UN will become irrelevant. That is India's suggestion to United Nations Organization. 80 years of United Nations Organization. That might be an interesting question, an important question next year. When UN was formed in the year 1945, so India is a founding member and presently UN have 193 member countries. United Nations organizations have 193 member countries. Next, India plans to import 20 cheetahs to African elephants by March. India is in discussions with Kenya, Botswana and Tanzania to import 20 more cheetahs and 2 female elephants by March. 10 African cheetahs shipped as an experiment have died in India since 2022. You all know that Asiatic cheetah is extinct in India. So, we are actually trying to replace and translocate African cheetahs in India. Okay. So, in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh, we are translocating African cheetahs. Already we are experimenting. But there is some issue. The cheetahs which were translocated, some of them have died. Again, India is planning to have 20 more cheetahs and 2 African elephants by March. The estimated cost for the first 5 years of Project Cheetah. India launched Project Cheetah. The estimated cost for Project Cheetah is 91.65 crores. From 2021-2022 to till date, we have spent 44 crores on cheetahs. As a part of first ever intercontinental translocation of cheetahs, 20 cheetahs have been brought to the Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh so far. 8 from Namibia in September 2022 and 12 from South Africa in February 2023. We are bringing cheetahs from Namibia and South Africa. Now we are discussing with Kenya, Botswana and Tanzania. Since then, 8 adult cheetahs, 3 females and 5 males have died. As many as 17 cubs were born in India. As many as 17 cubs, 17 babies, cubs were born in India with the 12 surviving, bringing the total number of cheetahs including cubs in Kuno 24. Recently, we heard the news that Switzerland have suspended MFN status to India, most favored nation status to India. As a retort to Nestle judgment given by the Supreme Court of India, Switzerland have given a statement that most favored nation status suspension not to delay implementation of EFTA trade pact with India. What is this EFTA? European Free Trade Association. So, recently, last year, India made TEPA, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with EFTA. EFTA is a group of countries, includes Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Iceland, etc. So, India and EFTA made TEPA. People thought that, experts thought that with Switzerland suspending MFN status to India, EFTA will get affected. But Switzerland said that MFN status suspension not to delay implementation of EFTA with India. So, EFTA have a time-bound agreement and time-bound pact. So, EFTA will not get affected. According to EFTA countries include Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, Liechtenstein, etc. The India EFTA Free Trade Pact with a committed $100 billion investment flow into India from 4 members European bloc. It is likely to be ratified in the first quarter of 2025, following which the two sides will put in place institutional mechanisms. BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. BrahMos was manufactured in collaboration India and Russia. Brahmaputra from India, Moskova from Russia. So, with India signing MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, with India becoming member in MTCR, India can actually sell BrahMos missiles. Already, India was in deals with Philippines. Now, India and Vietnam have reportedly inches closer to signing a significant defense deal with $700 million BrahMos missile system deal. According to the sources, both India and Vietnam plug in more procedural details and the deal is expected to be signed in few months. It is learned that the initial techno-commercial details have already been shared and discussed by Vietnamese Defense Ministry. The BrahMos missile is named after Brahmaputra River in India and Moscow in Russia. The missile is included in all the 3 armed wings of India, Army, Navy and Air Force. The range of this missile is 300 to 500 kilometers. It is equipped with stealth technology due to which it is not easy for the enemy to detect the missile. This BrahMos missile is a joint venture between India's Defense Research and Development Organization and Russia's NPO. It can carry 300 kgs warhead and is designed for land, sea and air launches. After India's entry into MTCR in 2016, Missile Technology Control Regime, the range of the missile system has been extended from initial 290 km to 450 to 600 km, with plans of further enhancement of its range. India signs $500 million loan deal with Asian Development Bank to support sustainable infra projects. The government of India has signed a $500 million loan to support green and sustainable infrastructure projects, aligned with the India's climate commitments with Asian Development Bank. The Asian Development Bank's loan with a sovereign guarantee will be extended to India's Infrastructure Finance Company Limited. Where are the headquarters of Asian Development Bank located? Manila, Philippines. So, basic question. The other interesting news that is coming up today, former Supreme Court Judge V. Ramasubramanian has been appointed as the chairperson of National Human Rights Commission. Former Supreme Court Judge V. Ramasubramanian has been appointed as the 9th chairperson of the NHRC. His appointment fills the position left vacant since Justice Arun Kumar Mishra completed his tenure in June. So, almost after 5 months, a new chairman was appointed for NHRC, Mr. V. Ramasubramanian. The National Human Rights Commission was established in 1993 under the Protection of Human Rights Act. National Human Rights Commission is a statutory body. Later, the Act was amended in 2006, Protection of Human Rights Act. The NHRC operates in accordance with the Paris Principles, adopted at the first international workshop on national institutions for promotion and protection of human rights in Paris in October 1991. Justice Arun Kumar Mishra served as the 8th chairperson of NHRC and he got retired in 2023. One important news, Bangladesh officially wrote a letter to India to extradite Sheikh Hasina. As you all know, Sheikh Hasina literally escaped from Bangladesh and came to India on August 5th. The problem is, in Bangladesh, there is no proper law and order. There is no proper stability. There is an interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. Sheikh Hasina is also issuing controversial statements sitting on the Indian land. Now, Bangladesh is saying there are many cases on Sheikh Hasina. Crimes Tribunal is going to investigate on her. She has to be sent back to Bangladesh. Actually, India and Bangladesh have an extradition treaty, but it also have a clause. In that clause, if the foreign country, the other country might persecute, if there is a chance of persecution, then the host country need not extradite the person. So, immediately there is no requirement for India to send back Sheikh Hasina till the situation calm down in Bangladesh. This is the episode that is going on. Done?